Welcome to the marketplace. Few villages and towns in antiquity probably had shops that you entered to purchase. More likely, goods were placed on the ground outdoors in front of merchants and sellers, and people came to survey the wares. This picture that usually hangs in my office and is part of the room where we keep the permanent records of our collection of antiquities has been moved so that we can frame the objects that we've brought together for a typical marketplace in antiquity. So let's begin to focus on the items that are here. First of all, note these heavy iron bracelets. Before there was coined money in the 7th century before the Common Era, people used metal and jewelry and other items for barter and for exchange. And so these heavy iron bracelets or anklets could be part of portable wealth that you carried with you as you came to the market. We also have jewelry, carnelian, faience beads from Egypt, and just plain black beads. Obviously, they could be unstrung and used to exchange and barter. Also, we have weights. Our weights are very interesting. In the Hebrew scriptures, we read about a pim in 1 Samuel 13:21. A pim is 2/3 of a shekel, and the one that's next to it is even smaller, and it's a nesef. It's a half of a shekel. It's called a light shekel. Then we have heavier weights as well. The heaviest weight that we have here is 146 grams. And they are hematite. Women would have been interested in purchasing spindle whorls that they could put on a stick and then pull their wool apart. And so these are smaller spindle whorls and a larger spindle whorl. Also, before we had buttons and safety pins, toggle pins actually held garments together. When it comes to special items that you might purchase at a marketplace, ointments and oils were always interesting. We've looked at this alabaster vessel before, but today I've also added to the collection of oils and scents this lovely little vessel that in Greek is inscribed with the name of the ointment, and it's called Bloom of Youth. This would have probably been a men's odor, a perfume. Also, in a market, you might expect to find toys. And so we have a small pottery bird, and on loan from my wife is an animal that she purchased in Israel some years ago that supposedly is from the Iron Age. Of course, we have pottery, vessels, lamps, pitchers, and the very distinctive vessel from the time of Solomon. Finally, when it comes to making records of purchases and sales, we have from Mesopotamia some clay tablets. These are administrative tablets, and they describe the sale of items. This particular cuneiform tablet talks about selling 90 cores of barley. A core is 252 liters. So this was quite a sale. This smaller one talks about somebody buying 6 loaves of bread and a bunch of chickpeas. So we actually have records of the sale of items. Finally, in front of me are cylinder seals that come to us from Mesopotamia. They could be inscribed with the name of a person, a king, a city, or even they might even have a design of an animal, a bird, a flower. Later in Israel, the seals are used in place of rolling, as you might. Here's the rolling in clay, but cylinder seals are impressions. This one is a fish, and this one is a lion. And so they would be placed on pottery or on parchment. There is in the Old Testament the name king, Melech, and we actually find that name stamped on various jar handles. So it belongs to the king. This assortment of items represents what you might find in a marketplace maybe 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 years ago.